Hey guys, I'm Alex, the CEO and founder at NOA Office. I grew up in Germany, studied in Germany mechatronics, which is mechanic, electronic and software combined. Worked for a short time in Tokyo to Rhineland, went in for a few years to Munich where I worked at BMW and Airbus, and then ended up in Shenzhen with the German Foundation, which is sending each year 50 German high potentials to Asia. Arriving here in Shenzhen, I figured out quite quickly that whatever Silicon Valley is for software, Shenzhen is for hardware. So I decided to stay here and set up my own company, my own team to bring ideas from idea to market. For the ones of you who did not have the chance yet to visit our current office, I will take you on a short office tour to show you our team size, our setup, our possibilities and resources. So if you are familiar with Shenzhen, you might notice that we are in front of the new World Exhibition and Convention Center, which is the very long building which starts over there and keeps going behind these buildings till over there. You'll also notice that literally all the buildings, including the trees in front of us, are completely new, so just existing since a few months. Correct, so the trees they brought in 3 months ago and planted to make a really nice park in front of this river here. There's also a brand new Tesla shop in that industrial area over there at JW Marriott in this direction, Hilton in that direction, Intercontinental around the corner. So basically everything in this direction is completely new, just built. While everything in that direction are older factory buildings like you might see them in Shenzhen. But of course all the buildings facing the beautiful view got completely renewed, including this office. This office has a total size of 2,000 square meter in reality, so on the paper it's 4,000, but you have in the moment basically a length of 60 meter, actually above 60 meter, and the width of 30 meter, above 30 meter, with 3 sections. So here the office section is the first one, the workshop the second, and then the third one is actually warehouse. Inside the office section you will see different kind of teams and departments. So here on these 2 tables and over there are sitting our sales managers. So here we would have, for example, Penny, we would have Jane, we would have Sissy, we would have Dave, he's actually from Singapore, who's managing the department, and then also David on the other side over here. So these are basically the guys who are receiving requests from customers like bombs, product development, whatever. So things where customers develop by themselves. Now they are looking for a quotation for prototyping, mass production, or something else. Then on the table over here, we have our administration team, where we have Eve taking care of HR, Stella taking care of accounting, and Lina's our COO. So basically, these are then the ladies who are keeping the company running. Then in purchasing, we have 2 ladies. So Jenny on the one side over here, Brandy on the other side over there. These are basically the ladies who take care of purchasing all kind of electronic components, mechanical parts, and whatever we need. While basically the entire rest of the room, so starting from these tables till then all the other tables over there are R&D. Here we have, for example, in the moment 2 project managers, Tony, who is sitting over here, and TE, who is sitting over there. These are the guys who are getting requests from customers, and based on this one, try to understand what the customer really wants, what they need, try to estimate time and budget necessary to develop the product, and then after everything is agreed, they managed an engineering team of usually mechanical engineers, electronic engineers, and software engineers to make things happen. On this table, we have in the moment 4 mechanical engineers. So Jace, who's sitting over here, is managing the team, though he's currently missing. And then we have Sam, who's in the moment working on some mini controller for one of our clients. We have here YY, who is working on Köhler, probably, so which is like on a smart cabinet for bathroom. And Carrie, who is working in the moment on a smart baitboard for one of our German clients, actually for a battery cover for that one. Then on this table, we have our electronic engineers. So these are the guys who basically develop all the PCBs which end up then inside these products. Here, for example, we have Robin in the moment, who's working on some PCB design. We have here Johnson, who is working on some other PCBs, probably for that little thing in front of him. And then we have also Dana, who might be working on some design for the washing machine he's working on. Then we have here in the moment Brian and Merle, which are our firmware developers in-house, while we have another firmware developer, Pavel, who is in the moment working from Dubai on this large flow meter for a Mexican customer. But these are then basically the gentlemen who are writing then all the code to make things running. I will show in a few seconds the samples over here and then also the other projects and products we are doing. But let me complete first quickly through the workshop section before these guys are going for lunch. Because it is actually lunch break soon. Then, so in the workshop section, we have two sites. So this is actually the site where we have, for example, an ESD table here. We have like a shielded chamber. We can test all kind of radio things, either sensitivity or noise or something else. And obviously also additional QC space, including space for testing one of the boats in water. While on this side, the actual action is happening in the moment. So here we have different lines on the one side to do QC, but on the other side also to do assembling, packing, and everything else. You might notice that these guys are all very, very busy finishing the production for one of our American clients. Which is a smart brake light, which is getting attached to the backside of a helmet. And then if you deaccelerate, it blinks automatically. So it is just like an additional brake light, but in a smart way. Here you will notice that the guys already finished most of the assembling of the newest production, which is 3,000 units. So they're already doing the packing over there and attaching also the VHB tape or adding the USB cable and all the other accessories inside the package. Here, for example, you will have additional PCBs. So these are actually the COBs. The tiny LED dots are actually what is making the light, and they're embedded on an aluminum material PCB. We have additional soldering workstations over here where we do in-house soldering for the boards we need. Here, for example, a lot of different Android boards for one of our customers. Two glue robots, which we are using, for example, to seal a tablet-style product for one of our German customers. And this is the other one, which is usually sealing the enclosure itself to make sure that it's really proofed against rain and everything. On this table, we have our Hunter, who is actually managing the team, a smart guy over here. Good man, definitely. Quality control is sitting over here, PMC over there. These are basically the guys who keep the factory running, either in-house or external. While so Kevin is the gentleman who is managing QC, and you will see that they're also very busy in the moment on the parts for the Android controller for our German customers. He has some of the mainboards which are going inside the controller, some of the joystick and everything else. We do have also an industrial printer for wherever we need to print, let's say, customized or unique stickers for every single product. And that's pretty much it on this side. While on the other side, we have still way too many goods standing over there. So this is something what we are shipping, hopefully with the next 1 or 2 containers out to Germany. And once that is done, we definitely will have also here more space to set up 2 more assembling lines, probably also an SMT line along the window to start also in-house SMT assembling, as we have that many requests in the moment coming in. If you keep going down the road, then you will see that we have on the one side and on the other side, last third is basically a warehouse, which is the space where we are storing all the goods, which we either need for in-house assembling or for external assembling. So basically this is the things, the material and the goods, which are then necessary to make production. Including, obviously, many test jigs, which are then necessary to test every single board to ensure that they're working 100%, because you trust quality, but you better test and verify. On the other side, we have two more warehouses. So that one's actually split. Here we have actually also two additional test chambers for testing. So this test chamber is for heating. So we can basically heat up products here till 100, 200, 300 degree, at least like 60 somethings to test how they would behave at bright sunlight over a few days, or at elevated temperature, also a freezer, which we are using to, for example, test at minus 30, minus 40 degree that the product is still working, which was, for example, important for some of the products which are used outdoors and have to perform. This is the other, a little bit smaller warehouse, which is storing a lot of goods, for example, for the R&D team or for smart prototyping, while the last warehouse is always locked and always air-conditioned and dehumidified, because this one is the one which is containing all the sensitive and expensive parts which are sensitive to humidity and to temperature. If you keep going in this direction, you will see a nice infinity mirror. Look at that. Correct. And basically, which brings us to our elevator sections, our lobby. So basically, this is the space where on the one side, you have a small canteen where people in the moment start their lunchtime. Also restroom, server room over there. And then obviously, two big NOA icons with TV displaying some of the products we worked on. The other one. And then on this side, the big NOA Labs logo, where you clearly can see we build future. Followed then by an elevator, which is big enough to move pallets up and down, and downstairs is enough space to actually bring trucks. This is pretty much the most important thing you need to know about our office. I can show you a few more samples we are working on if you're interested to stick on that video. Otherwise, obviously, please come and visit, because then you will be able to see the newest products we're working on in real time and ask additional questions. So if I show you some of the products, then here is actually our show corner. Let me open the door for you. And honestly speaking, this, let's say, just 10% of products we really touched in the past. So maybe just to explain you some of the stuff you're seeing here. This, for example, is Lumio. So they came to us nearly 10 years ago, like a San Francisco-based designer. And, oh, let me open this up. And he made $500,000 on Kickstarter, but then called me up and said, hey, you know what, I need a company who is now actually really designing, developing, producing the product for me, because people want the product, but I built something which took me 2 weeks to build a single sample just for the Kickstarter video. So I can't produce it. I need someone who can actually do that for me. This is an industrial IoT node for a company from Wisconsin. And basically that one contains a single board computer running Linux, wireless connectivity on Wi-Fi, but also cellular, and a lot of additional waterproof connectors, which you can attach, for example, to IP camera, to sensors or something else, to sense how good your CNC machine is performing, how good your pallet wrapping machine is performing, and so on. We have here a smart fishing camera for a Canadian-based company, which obviously is allowing you to be dropped in the water when fishing. It's attached to your fishing rod, and then it's recording how you're catching a fish. Smart number plate for a Seattle-based company, which is getting attached around your number plate, so just using the same screws, is adding the 2 ultrasound sensors you need to measure the distance, is having wireless communication inside Bluetooth, and a battery which can run 3 months without recharging, which is then communicating to your smartphone app, and is giving you the beep, beep, beep you would expect when you're parking in. And that's the full package on this one. We have also a European version, which is basically very similar, just a different form factor. Pavco is one of our other clients who is in marijuana business. They are New York based, so basically here, once marijuana got legalized in the USA, then some companies like Pavco came to us and said, hey, you know what, we want to build a fancy marijuana smoking device. And they really built a fancy one with LEDs, with batteries, with real glass, with basically all the details you would expect from a premium device. Brake light I already showed you. So this is the smart brake light which you're attaching on the back of your helmet, which is basically coming in white but also in black. Samsara is an Israeli-based company. So they actually do smart luggage, and we, for example, made the smart unit for them, which is going inserted inside the luggage and gives them the luggage tracking capabilities while it's charging for your phone, but then also charging for your laptop or any other device. They did last year a cross campaign with T-Mobile USA, which resulted in a pink version, where it is then T-Mobile Samsara branded, including obviously the smart luggage, where the whole thing is going into in pink. Cosmos is a German-based company which is existing by now since 200 years. And these guys are doing educational kits for physics, chemistry, biology, science, everything else. We actually work together with them on the one side here on Cosmos Bits, or Code Gamer is the English version of it. So that's actually an educational kit which is teaching children how to write code, basically. So basically you can attach an Arduino-based computer, which is here on this one, can play an app where you would stand in front of an ice wall, and to melt it, you will need then to plug in one of these little sensors, for example, for temperature, to start melting it. You might be in a dark room and you plug in a light sensor to make sure that the light is going on. And at some point of time, once you're familiar with the details, you would be able to take the entire thing apart and start writing code by yourself. While Sensors Alive or Monster Maker, so this is basically a kit where you can collect different kind of sensor values like temperature, like brightness, like loudness, or even gravity, like acceleration. And based on this one, you would grow an alien baby on a different kind of planet. So a very hot or very cold planet. So you would have either very, very thick fuel or no fuel at all. Very bright or very dark, very loud, a very silent planet. Based on this one, your ears might be big or small. Your eyes might be big or small. Similar also in gravity, like low gravity, high gravity, you might be either very tall and very skinny, or like super strong, basically, and running on 4 legs. Nomico is a sous vide cooking device for a San Francisco-based company. This is for Sasso, a Tokyo-based company, actually, a smart bike lock we did a few years ago before the bike sharing started in China, or like worldwide. And yeah, then we deployed the first 100 smart bike locks to the client. They came to us to visit, to discuss about the next phase. But just then, like thousands of yellow and orange bikes came up on the street, and the client decided, hey, let's take first a look how the market is developing before deciding if or how to continue. A few other things you might see here is different kind of Amazon Echo connected devices, a smart wallet for an Indian/US based company, a laser distance ranger for a German-based company, a payment device for an Indian-based company, a cybersecurity scanner for a Silicon Valley-based company, an offline password keeper for a Swiss company, but then also a lot of other things you will find, like ranging even to simple LED goggles, sensors, like a local positioning system and everything else. That thing is actually a full-size boat we're working for in the moment for a Netherlands-based company, but testing some of our own motors. So this one is in the moment equipped with 2 500-watt motors. So here's one and there's one. This one is getting in the moment a 2,000-watt motor attached, which is on another table I will show you. But we are also working on a motor which can provide 8,000 watt of power. So basically that thing over here with the propeller, correct, over here, can actually provide up to 8,000 power continuously, while it can peak up to 15 or 16,000 watt, including the ESC, which can provide up to 300 amp at 75 volts. So it's really, really powerful thing. And I'm pretty sure it might be even too strong for the boat to run this at full performance. The 2,000 watt motors I've been just talking about are actually the ones over here. They are the ones strapped to a table to make sure that they're not flying off. Attached to a 2,500 watt hour battery, which you can find over here, to power the entire device, while we also are testing different kind of remote controllers, to be then able to test or confirm what the newest design should be, like if we need some kind of joystick, what kind of buttons, and so on. A few other products the guys are working on is here Eden, for example. It's one of Tony's projects. This is actually coming from a South African, UK-based company, and they've been focusing on VR content. But then they came to us and said, we need now also something where we can deploy our VR content. So we worked together with them to design a solution which comes with a kiosk where you could select what kind of experience you want. So for example, you can click on that, you can say, I want to watch this, this, and that. I want, for example, mission to Mars. Then there might be 1, 5, 10 VR headsets next to it, which you just grab. So there's no strap or nothing, just the handlebar, and you put it on your eyes and start enjoying the show. It might be difficult to see anything at all on the video, but you're getting the point. So the goal is that this can be deployed in a shopping mall, like at the office lobby, at the car dealer, at an exhibition or something else, at the museum maybe. So basically people could, for example, walk into the office from Google, select Office Tour in Japanese, then 10 Japanese businessmen are grabbing the headset, putting it on, and then they're getting the Office Tour in Japanese synchronized, and all together, oh, sugoi desu ne, because they're all getting at the same time the wow effect. T is also the guy, he's actually in the moment in Malaysia because he has to deal with some business over there. So he's also working on the smart flow meter here for a Mexican-based company. So this big thing is getting installed either on the backside of a truck or on a gas station. It contains a huge pump, which you can see, that's not a pump, a huge sensor flow, so a meter which is detecting how much flow, how much liquid is going through the device. Different kind of valves which are allowing to switch on and off. The flow, obviously a smart main board, which allows to connect to a large LED display or an LCD display, which is also allowing to have backup power from a 12-volt battery if the truck or the gas station fail to provide power. And then on the truck itself, we would attach a very bright LED screen, which is showing the price and some other information, while on the gas station itself, we would attach a smaller LCD display where you could select how many liter you want to buy, and also you would see how much already went into your car or into your tank. This device is for a Pakistani-based company, and it's a medical device, a dialysis device. So basically, this one is getting attached to your body and is pumping and cleaning some liquid. Correct. So there would be usually a small bag going on top of this here, which is getting heated and measured. There would be a few tubes getting attached, hold on, to the side of this device here. Okay, it's actually taped. So you'd be able to open this one, and as I said, some of the devices are for locking and unlocking, some other devices, okay. So basically this is how it goes. So for locking and unlocking the flow, some other ones are for cleaning or measuring. There is a Linux-based system here at the front where you can also see data and get the information you need. This customer actually did all the design development by themselves, but then they called us up and said, hey, you know what, we are failing ESD, we're failing EMI, we need someone who's actually helping us to pass certification. So they sent us a few samples, and we had to put them in our shielded chamber on our ESD table and everything else to actually figure out which modules need to be replaced or shielded or protected to make sure they actually pass. And by now they pass. Tony, who's by now back on his desk, is working on a few interesting things. For example, WowMe. This is a small device for an Australian-based company which is getting attached to your wrist. Okay, my wrist is too big for this one. But basically, this device would allow you to have, let's say, a small touch interface, and it would give you either a short cooling or heating sensation that you get focused or into your zone or something else. White Charge is an Israeli-based company. So these guys focus on wireless charging. So you see that there's a very tiny infrared receiver on the top, which is receiving focused light from a sender which is attached to the ceiling or mounted to the ceiling. There's a small PIR sensor at the bottom, which is detecting if someone is passing by. So imagine that this device is getting installed in, for example, a supermarket, shopping mall, or somewhere else on the shelves, and can run literally forever without recharging because it's getting charged all the time wirelessly from somewhere else. And it will display advertisement when you're passing by, and will try to sell you some spaghetti, some noodle, or some beer, like in this case. Kinex is a medical device for a Singapore-based company, which is getting attached, I will borrow here Tony's arm. So it's basically attached, for example, to your elbow or to your knee, and based on the flexing of this sensor, it will detect how good you recovered after an accident, after a stroke, or something else. This is for a Miami-based company, a washing and drying machine at the same time, where the main requirements from the customer are that it looks sexy. I hope you enjoyed the little office tour at our company. As you can imagine, there are many more products I could talk about. Some of them are on our table right now. Some other ones I can't talk about because they're confidential. But being already 10 years in business, you can imagine we did it all. Ranging from small wearable devices like smart rings, wristband, bracelets, or even smart t-shirts, over mattresses for babies or pillows for human, over medical devices, over accessories for e-boats, for cars, for bikes, for skateboards, even to trucks and gas stations, till AR, VR, IoT, AI, and many more categories. From outside, these products look all very different, but in the core, on the block diagram, they contain the same elements. All of them have some kind of brain, some kind of MCU, some kind of CPU. Nearly all of them have some kind of communication, either wireless, using Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, LoRa, Zigbee, Z-Wave, 3G, 4G, 5G, or wired, if that is necessary. All of them have some kind of power management, either running from a battery or from a C line, and all of them have some kind of sensors on the one side to sense the environment or a body or something else, and actuators to react accordingly. So from outside, they are totally different devices, but in the core, they are all no rocket science for us because we did it already before. So if you have any interesting product you would like us to help you with, please do not hesitate and contact me at alex@noalabs.com or one of my team members to get in touch with you, to understand what you need and how we can help you to bring your product from idea to market. And if you have the chance to come over to Shenzhen, Hong Kong, please come visit our office. Take a look in real at our office, our samples, our products. Let's talk about your product, your vision, your idea, and let's work together, hopefully, to build a better future together. Thanks a lot. I'm Alex, the CEO and founder at NOA Labs, and I'm looking forward to talk with you soon.